Hello friends, in last two lectures we have seen some of very important dualisms or dichotomies in geography. Subject geography is characterized by some of very important dichotomies. Among them we have already dealt with the first two dichotomies, that is systematic geography versus regional geography and physical geography versus human geography. In this lecture we will discuss over the another very famous dichotomy in geography, that is determinism and possibilism. Geography is the study of interrelationships between environment. In the history of geographical concepts, there are various approaches and schools of thoughts of study of man-nature interaction. Some scholars advocated the importance of nature or environment, while some give importance to the ability of man. This dichotomy resulted into the formation of two major approaches of study in geography, that is determinism and possibilism. Determinism gives importance to environmental control on human activity, whereas possibilism gives more weightage to human efforts and intelligence. Determinism is the prime philosophy advocated by eminent geographers such as Hippocrates, Aristotle, Strabo, Kant, Ritter, Miss Ellen Semple, W.M. Davis, and Huntington. The point of view is that the physical environment controls the course of human action and development. In other words, the belief that variation in human behavior around the world can be explained by the differences in the natural environment. The central theme of the deterministic school of thought is that the history, culture, lifestyle, and stage of development of a society or the nation are exclusively or largely governed by the physical factors of environment. The determinists generally considered man as a passive agent on which the physical factors are constantly acting and thus determining his attitude and process of decision making. They believe that most human activities can be explained as a response to natural environment. The Greeks and Roman scholars were probably the first who made attempts to explain the relationship between the natural conditions and physical features and character traits and culture of the people. They included Hippocrates, Aristotle, historian Thucydides, Xenophon, and Herodotus. According to Thucydides and Xenophon, the prime natural conditions and geographical location resulted into the greatness of Greece. Aristotle explained the differences between northern Europeans and Asians in terms of climatic causes. He stated that the cold climate of Europe produced brave but unintelligent people who were able to maintain their independence but did not have the capacity to rule over others. Whereas the warm climates of Asia produced intelligent but coward people subjected to slavery. Aristotle gave credit to the environment for the progress of the society. Strabo also attempted to explain how slope, relief, and climate govern the lifestyles of people. The philosophy of determinism also dominated in the writings of Arab geographers. They correlated the human activities and lifestyle with their environment. According to Arab geographers, where the water is abundant, the people are gay and humorous, while the people of dry and arid lands are short-tempered. Immanuel Kant and Karl Ritter also attempted to establish the relationship between the physical characteristics of the man with his environmental conditions. The origin of determinism lie in the work of Charles Darwin's revolutionary book Origin of Species, which was written in 1859. This book influenced many geographers. Darwin's ideas of evolution were taken up by W. M. Davis in his cycle of erosion model of landform development. Frederick Ratzel, a follower of Darwin, believed in the survival of fittest and saw man as the end product of evolution. He developed a theory of the state as an organism. According to him, the development of Britain and Japan is the result of their prime and safe geographical locations. In his deterministic approach, he gave more weightage to the location than human efforts. Helen Churchill Semple was a leading American determinist. She stated that man is a product of the earth's surface. He is a child of the earth, and the earth mothered him. Another American geographer, Ellsworth Huntington, advocated that environmental determinism in his monumental book, The Principle of Human Geography, in 1945. He developed the idea of a role of climate in the progress of civilization. He divided the world into mild and harsh climatic zones, and he opined that the ancient civilizations, that is, Egyptian or Mesopotamian, Chinese, as well as Indus, these ancient civilizations, according to him, flourished in the fertile river valleys of mild climate. He also stated that religion and racial characteristics are the product of climate. According to Huntington, the reason of the development of America and European nations lies in their temperate climate. On the other hand, the underdevelopment of tropics is because of humid, hot, and oppressive weather. The philosophy of determinism is criticized by many scholars because it neglects the cultural factors. The opponents of determinism cited many examples which highlight the importance of human factors which modified their environment. For example, two contrasting societies like Bakarwals and Kashmiris of Jammu and Kashmir, Nepalis and Khasis from Meghalaya, Assamese and Bengali from Brahmaputra Valley, or Tharas and Sikhs from Tarai region UP. All these societies, they exist in the same environment, but they have different modes of life and culture. So it certainly means that not only climate, but the traditions, attitude towards their environment, education, technology, food habits, and other cultural factors are greatly affect on the development of human groups. Environment undoubtedly influences man, and man in turn changes his environment. Their interactions are so complicated. Many landscapes that appear natural to us are in truth the work of man. For example, wheat, barley, olive, and wine, which dominate the Mediterranean countries today, are entirely the products of human efforts. Apple and almond orchards of Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh are the creation of man. Civilization and high yield of basmati rice in low rainfall regions of India is another example. After the World War II, the ideology of determinism was attacked by many geographers in USA, UK, Canada, as well as in some other countries. They criticized the one-side approach adopted by the determinists who exaggerated the nature's active role and, on the other hand, man's passive role. Spett criticized the fanatic approach of the determinists. He stated that environment taken by itself is a meaningless phrase. Without man, environment does not exist. The extreme generalization by the determinists led to the counter philosophy which is known as Possibilism. Possibilism in geography developed as a reaction to extreme generalization of determinists that led to a counter philosophy called as Possibilism. This philosophy attempts to explain man-environment relationship in a different way. It presented the man as an active rather than passive agent. The ideology of Possibilism was advocated by eminent scholars such as Lucien Febvre, Vidal de Lablache, and Carl Sawyer. According to Possibilists, the natural environment provides many opportunities to man, the number of which increases as the knowledge and technology of human society develop. Faber writes that the true and only geographical problem is that of utilization of possibilities. According to him, there are no necessities, but everywhere there are possibilities. Vidal de Lablache, a leading French geographer, also advocated Possibilism. He stated that nature sets the limits and offers possibilities for the man. But the way man reacts or adjusts to these conditions depends on his own traditional way of life. Lablache was such a staunch supporter of Possibilism that he developed the school of Possibilism. He tried to explain the differences in various human groups lived in the same environment. He pointed out that these differences are not due to the physical environment, but they are the outcome of variations in their attitudes, values, and habits. This concept became the basic philosophy of the school of Possibilism. The French geographers saw a series of possibilities for human development in the physical environment. But they also realized that though the nature offers the opportunities to man, the state of his development is totally depend on the way how he utilizes the opportunities. It differs in different human societies. Therefore, we found differential levels of development in different human societies. The doctrine of Possibilism thus gives more importance to the efforts of man. H. J. Fleury formed the world regions based on human characteristics such as regions of efforts, regions of hunger, and industrialized regions. In France, Jean Brunches was a strong supporter of Possibilism. He remarks, though the man has limited power and means in his hand, but he can modify his environment. He further added that nature is not mandatory but permissive. He was the first who presented the formulation of human geography as a systematic science. Carl Sauer put forward the concept of cultural landscape, which gave more importance to human efforts than environmental restrictions. Barrow, the prominent ecologist, coined the term human ecology. Thus, the doctrine of Possibilism became very popular after World War I. Possibilists believed that the man is not just the pawn of natural environment. According to the Possibilists, the nature is never more than the advisor. There are no necessities, but everywhere possibilities. In spite the fact that man has numerous possibilities, he cannot go against the directions led by his physical environment. Brunches also stated that man can only modify his environment but cannot surpass it. The possibilistic approach has been criticized by many contemporary thinkers. Griffith Taylor, while criticizing possibilism, opined that the task of geography was to study the natural environment and its effects on man, and not all the problems connected with the man or the cultural landscape. Moreover, possibilism exaggerated the role of man and neglects the importance of the nature. Possibilism promotes over anthropocentrism in geography. So, in brief, the doctrine of possibilism is also not acceptable like that of determinism. Griffith Taylor integrated these two extremes of determinism and possibilism in his new concept known as stop and go determinism.